Let's talk about how to become a faster sprinter like Marcel Jacobs without having to train every single day nonsensically. The first thing we're going to do is look at his training routine and see what we can take from it to actually improve our sprint speed. My name is Just Jamari. I train hundreds of athletes. I've helped guys run 4.4s in the 40 yard and 10.2 in the 100 meter. Let's get straight into it. Okay, the first exercise you're going to see is quad extension. So a lot of people like kind of back and forth about this. Is this good or is this not good? This is really good for building quad hypertrophy. You're going to see a lot of quad force production on force plates from your acceleration sprint speed and even your max velocity sprint speed. You're gonna use a lot of your quad and also a lot of your glute, but building some quad strength can be really helpful for improving your push off in your acceleration sprint speed, and it also can be very helpful from resisting your knee pain. So building hypertrophy around the quad area can really stop you from getting that knee pain and shin splints that can really hold people back. It wouldn't necessarily stop shin splints, but building the cross sectional area around the tibia can really help you as like kind of like a first step to preventing really nagging injuries that you get as an athlete. So this next one is elevated goblet squats. So I mean, you could call it goblet squat. There's a lot of different names for it. Pretty much what the squat does is the reason why he has is elevated. He's higher up off the ground, and so you get more range of motion. He might struggle with stuff like ankle mobility, so really pushing his shin above his knee, but he definitely is pushing his butt back, so he's not pushing his knee forward very much. Let's go back so we're not missing too much. And he's really just it's just a general lift. All it's going to really end up doing is just build hypertrophy in the glutes, in the quads. That could be really helpful. It's not going to be the greatest transfer to your sprint speed. It could help with acceleration sprint speed, especially gain more range of motion. Acceleration sprint speed is a longer ground contact time, and it's a big range of motion sprint, so that could be actually very helpful in that area, but nothing else really in terms of like transfer from the weight room. He also doesn't have a lot of weight, so I wouldn't really be suspecting this to be like his big heavy lift to actually transform anything, right? This one right here is a great lift for improving your force production. So on a machine, you have something called, I think it's like the stability paradigm. So the more stability you have, the more force production you actually produce on a force plate. So since he has more stability, he's probably loading this up super heavy and he's going very, very fast. So high velocity to actually improve his force production in his acceleration and his max velocity phases. And he's obviously mimicking kind of like a speed squat, which is really good because you could do a barbell speed squat and that would be helpful, but you also lack a lot of stability and it could be really dangerous on your spine and everyone's gonna look at you crazy when you're in the gym. So doing something on like a hack machine or something like this machine will give you more stability, more force production, more potential when you actually run your sprint speed because you're improving that strength in that high velocity aspect. This next one's a hang clean. Hang cleans are really good for developing power through triple extension. Obviously, it's a high velocity lift, which can also translate to more motor unit recruitment and more fast twitch muscle fibers. This is a rapid hamstring curl. These are really, really good for improving like hamstring bulletproofing. You can't bulletproof a hamstring. You're always going to get hamstring injuries and stuff like that. But sprinting max velocity is the highest force you can put on your hamstring. And it being going to the weight room is like a good first step to protecting your hamstring, but sprinting is the most important thing you can do to actually protect your hamstring. It's a plyometric that actually targets your hamstring, but when you do stuff like this that's more rapid, you can actually prepare yourself for that sprinting that can really have that high transfer to preventing injuries in the hamstring area. So you could just do a regular curl. This is obviously way more ballistic, but this is mainly for injury prevention. It's not gonna like improve your speed or anything like that. It's not like a lot of crazy studies on that at all. So next one's a super high box jump. I'm not a fan of going super heavy and super high in the box jumps, just landing in a deep squat. I feel like if you're jumping on a box that you're landing in a deep squat, you're not jumping high enough for that box. You're just forcing your legs up as much as possible. But what this does do good, and I'm going to get a lot of controversy for this, what these type of box jumps do well in is driving max intent. So look at what he did here. He jumped his hardest possible. A lot of people avoid this. They avoid, let's say they're trying to dunk. They avoid trying to actually dunk. They don't actually go for the dunk, or they don't actually, challenge themselves in their sprint speed. So they don't actually time themselves or race someone that they know is faster than them. That is how you get max motor unit recruitment, and that's how you actually improve your threshold to get faster. So you have to test yourself by max effort jumps, max effort sprints. So when you do a box jump that is actually too high, even if you're forcing your legs up, you're still actually trying your hardest and getting max more unit recruitment and max intensity, which is going to be the biggest transfer to your sprint speed, your vertical jump. These are rapid hurdle hops. So This really improves the stress shortening cycle. We know the stress shortening cycle is really important for your sprint speed and your vertical jump, and he's doing it with a really high hurdle height. So the lower hurdle heights are going to be more transferred to your max velocity sprint speed because the ground contact times are going to be shorter. The higher hurdles, so like you're really kicking your legs up, are going to be longer ground contact times because you have to produce more force to get above the hurdle. So these are going to transfer more to your acceleration sprint speed, and there's a horizontal momentum. So this actually introduces braking forces into your sprinting, which can be really important for deceleration, your stress shortening cycle. It has a lot of benefits. Adding braking forces, that's really where you can actually see some improvements on your 1 foot jump, your max velocity sprint speed, is when you do stuff with actual momentum to it instead of just doing up and down jumps and all these low level plyometries that don't actually do anything. This is really intense though. I wouldn't just do this off rip. I would do something very baby. So this is I think a triple jump drill. This is really good for teaching technique and just kind of getting like extra power out. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you're doing assisted band jump, you're getting more force out because you're deloading your body weight and making it easier. So when you have these like elevated boxes, you're going to be able to produce more force because you're getting higher in the air and get farther. And it kind of like unlocks stuff in your body, if that makes sense. Unlocking like the potential that your body might not know how to use because the motor skill isn't there yet. So a little complex. I don't want to get into motor skill learning and neurological stuff, but there is some really good benefits for it. This next one is a med ball toss. Is really good for power development. He's going for distance, which can really help with hip extension, acceleration, sprint speed. I actually do these in the Just Sprint program. By the way, if you want to run a 4.4 40 yard, just like a lot of my other athletes on the Just Sprint program, you click the link below, or if you want to transform your vertical jump and start dunking by the next 4 to 5 months, hop on the Just Jump program. Both these programs have transformed thousands of athletes. That's literally thousands. I have thousands of testimonials on my Just Jamari Instagram page. Go check them out and go check out the program to transform your speed or vertical jump. Okay, this next one is some really good stuff. This is juicy right here. So this is acceleration band resisted sprints. So he's doing this for time. It's obvious that he's getting time, and the acceleration band is light. Look at this. A lot of people like to go into these like weighted sled sprints or these hill sprints or band resistant sprints, and they go way too heavy. You're not actually producing force. When you do 10 to 20% of your body weight in like resistance, you're actually teaching your body how to produce more force and improving the threshold of force production and power production. So you want to do really light resistance, but enough where it keeps you in that horizontal angle. You see how his shins and his ankle is producing force horizontally, and also enough resistance where you're actually, pushing that threshold that you might not know how to do. So this is really important for your sprint speed. I think in the Just Sprint program, in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, we have resistance sprints, and we always keep it usually under 30 to 40%. The heaviest we ever go in Just Sprint is 40%, but we usually stay around 10 to 20 because that is that sweet spot for improving your speed and vertical jump. Now this next one is really nice block starts. So he probably has it timed. The really important part about time block starts is that you're getting max motor unit recruitment, max, velocity-based training. You're going off auto regulation. So you're pushing yourself at max intent. And then if you drop below, let's say you don't PR that time, you don't run like a PR 20 meter, then you just stop the workout because you're not going to gain anything from it because you're just conditioning. So you have to make sure that you're always PRing in your practices and running your fastest ever. If you're not, you're probably too tired, you're probably too fatigued, you shouldn't be working out. There is no huge benefit in just doing technique, just to do technique and doing sub-maximal sprints at low intensity. This right here, you see that free lap right here? You see where my mouse is? That's a free lap. That's a timer. You guys think I'm making this shit up. I've trained guys who run 10.2. You always have to time everything. That is the key thing that makes these pro athletes separate from you, is they always time, they always race, they're always doing stuff that is max explosiveness. They aren't doing all these, technique days or, sub-maximal tempo days and low intensity days and, I'm just going to work on my form today, I'm going to record myself. Like, no, they're actually testing themselves. They're always going 100%. Not trying hard and just, doing all this extra stuff like just tensing up and trying to, muscle their way through, but they're going max intent. I promise you 90% of the time, he's probably having a free lap right here. He's going to time himself. This stuff is this is the meat and potatoes. This is the most important stuff for your speed work. This is literally the most important stuff. It's timing yourself and doing max effort sprints. Literally 100% sprints. Racing somebody who's faster than you. Racing someone who's a little bit slower than you, but they start like 5 meters ahead of you. Stuff like that is super important. You have, there is time for improving your technique, doing technique work, doing tempo work. Don't go in the comments and be like, you never do tempo work. I'll explain this in a second, but just understand. I'm not going to keep rambling. This next one right here is assisted sprint work. So this is really important for we use this as velocity-based training. I don't do this in just sprint because it's people. I would literally injure someone. You have to be really careful with this type of stuff. You can do it with a band. You can do it with parachutes. There's a lot of weird ways you can do it. But either way, the way he's doing it is taking like the air out of it. I've heard like some weird explanations, but pretty much what it is assisted sprinting. So it's teaching your body how to go like that extra 10 and 20%. The simplest way I can explain it is you're getting more out of your body that you might not be accustomed to. And if you do it in very short volume, so like not a lot of like reps and sets, so you do very short amount and you stimulate the body, you can get a lot of really good benefits to your max velocity sprint speed. And there's not a lot of people doing this because it's very dangerous, but it also can be very, very beneficial for the stimulus you bring to your body. You can adapt to some really high level stuff, right? But I don't suggest this. If you're watching this video and you're not running under like 10.6, you probably shouldn't be doing stuff like this. Your mechanics are probably nowhere to the par. So not disrespectful, I'm just saying you probably cannot do this without getting injured. This is probably a max effort 150. Might not be 100%, but maybe like 90%. Really good for improving energy systems that improve like the speed endurance aspect of your sprinting. If you guys enjoy, remember I have other breakdowns of other athletes, and I actually teach people how to get faster in the Just Sprint program. Go check that out in the bio down below to transform your sprint speed, whether you're in season or off season in 4 months, and go watch this video right here.